I'm Melissa.
And I'm Mike.
Welcome back to True Crime Thursday and the A&M podcast.
Yeah.
Ta-da.
So, ta-da.
Um.
So we got
today,
kind of an
yeah,
old one this week, right? And a case that's from back a little bit, but not in the not too distant past. I guess there were some updates on it. Not like recently, but also not that long ago, considering how old the case is.
yeah, like 90s, late 90s,
Yeah.
late 90s, early 2000s era.
Yeah. So
Yeah, and you know what's crazy is this one, as I was like reading through it and stuff, it gives like what's his name? Chris Watts vibes.
yeah, I was thinking that. I was thinking that as I was reviewing it. It kind of very similar. There seems to be a theme on these that
It's so
people are
funny.
doing. Yeah.
Yeah, like, so if you haven't guessed it already, I'll give you a couple more seconds to guess. Okay, now I'll tell you the answer. So we're doing the Lacey Peterson case. I like calling it the Lacey Peterson case because I would rather say her name over
The
her
murderer.
husband. The
Yeah.
murderer.
The murderer. Yeah, a lot of people think that's the way it should be too. When these things happen, we should remember the names of the victims, not the name of the guilty.
Because usually that's what they want. They want, like, well, not all the time, but a lot of times,
Some
like,
of
they
them,
want
yeah.
the fame and the name
The
repeat.
notoriety.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, I would say this is like a pretty famous crime. I think a lot of people, like, even who aren't even super into true crime, like, there's like certain names that you remember, and I think Lacey Peterson is one of them. It's like what was the other case that we did? The Jennifer Kesse one, like,
Right.
that's
Right.
like, it's just like it was such a big deal back then.
Yeah.
Um, so do you want to start off or do you want me to start off?
So maybe I'll start off this one. I usually let you do it. I'll start off this one,
Yeah,
just
I want that.
to test my abilities.
Go
Yeah.
for
So, this started on Christmas Eve in 2002 was when, um, I mean, I guess it started technically a little earlier than that because, the story is that Scott, the husband of Lacey Peterson, was having an affair with a woman named, I believe, Amber Fry. Did I get that one right?
Amber Fry. Why does that sound like, not to roast her, but like, why does it kind of sound like a South Park character? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
kind of. Yeah. Well, she was apparently a massage therapist, so I don't know if
hmm
that's how they met. But when they
No.
met, go ahead.
Yeah, no. So they met apparently through a friend who was like, Scott,
Okay.
Scott, 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 you should meet my friend Amber. Bad friend. Okay.
Yeah.
First of all,
Right.
like, terrible friend.
Yeah.
You should meet my friend Amber. So, like, when he first was like, he messaged, I think he texted her. I guess texting was a thing back in 2002.
Yeah.
So he had texted her. And at first, when they were like messaging back and forth, he was like, he gave this annoying description of like, oh, I'm ugly. I'm not that attractive. I'm overweight. I have long, greasy hair, which, like, obviously that's not the case. Like, he kind of
Right.
looked very similar to Brad Pitt. Like, like, he was not an overweight, ugly guy with long, greasy hair.
Right.
And I don't know if he was saying that to like ward her off or just to be funny, but then she had responded something like, "Oh, long, greasy hair sounds hot," or I don't know, something cheesy like that.
Yeah.
And then he was out, I think he was out of town for work or something. I'm assuming that's what he told Lacey, because otherwise, like, that's what blows my mind kind of about these cases. Like,
Right.
I don't know, in my own relationship, like, we're so communicative. Like, obviously you couldn't have had someone's location back then, but like, you had phones, and I don't know, I feel like I'm so communicative, I don't feel like it would just be so many red flags, but maybe it was just because of his job. I don't know.
Yeah. I feel
But
like if somebody's got a job where they travel a lot, it's easy for them to. I've known
like,
situations where that happened, where people were traveling all the time, and turns out, you know, some part of the time that they were traveling, they were involved in things that they shouldn't have been.
Yeah, no, I guess that's true. Um, but yeah, so he had like left and they met up. They went to I forget how they actually met. I think when they first met up, they met and just got a drink or something. Then he was like, "Oh, because obviously he was staying out of town there, so he had a hotel room." He's like, "Oh, okay. Do you want to come up to my hotel room with me real quick? I'm just gonna take a shower." Which already, like, it's the first time you're meeting someone, no judgment,
Yeah,
but judging. But,
yeah,
you know, first time she's meeting him and he's just casually like, "Oh, you want to come up and like, I just got to shower real quick. You want to just come up
yeah,
there and wait for me?" Like,
yeah. That's a
so
little odd.
then afterwards, they like went to dinner and full on affair. And then like she stayed the night with him and that's how it all started basically. And then he's like, you know, telling her like, "Oh, I travel here. I have to go to Paris." Like really fluffing himself up to this
Yeah.
woman who no, you know what? I'm not going to be rude. Okay, let's continue.
Well, I guess so. That only started a month or so before the murder because and at
Mhm.
the time he told her he had lost his wife.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mhm.
Yeah, which is, you know, scumbag material there, you know.
Yeah.
But I guess December 23rd, Lacey and Scott visited her sister's salon. He got a haircut. And Lacey spoke to her mother that night around 8:30 p.m., which I guess was one of the last confirmed conversations with her. Um, and then so Christmas Eve of 2002 is when she disappeared. That's the day she disappeared. He says he left the home around 9:30 in the morning to go fishing, and that she had planned to stay home and watch Martha Stewart mop the floors and walk the dog. And about an hour after he left the house, a neighbor found the dog just wandering around the neighborhood and put it in their backyard. And I don't know if that was like part of the plan was, oh, they'll find the dog and they'll think, oh, somebody must have. And if I remember correctly at the time, that was the story that was out there is, oh, somebody abducted her. Because that evening he reported her missing.
Mhm.
Um, let's see. And then search begins in Modesto, California, where all this happened. Case That's when the case became national news. And sometime in there is where the police discovered that he'd been having an affair with Amber Fry. Um, and I guess my timeline is a little weird because then it says that happened in late December, January. Okay. It says Amber contacted the police after learning Scott was married in 2003. So she, fessed up right away to what she knew about it. I do remember that. She was, very out there on it.
Yeah.
Um, and she recorded phone calls with Scott, so she helped like trap him basically. The really sad part is, in April of the following year, I guess the body of a fetus washed up on the San Francisco Bay, and that's because I don't think we mentioned that, but Lacey was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah,
Makes him even more of a scumbag.
she was doing, I think it said February
Yeah, yeah.
2003.
Yeah. And then I guess the day after the baby's fetus washed up, the
That's crazy.
decomposed body of Lacey Peterson was found. Um,
That's
and
crazy.
interestingly enough, shows that not only was he a scumbag, but he wasn't too bright because the body's washed up right near where he said he'd gone fishing. I guess that was though if anybody saw him out on a boat, because clearly he probably took them out on the boat. But
Well,
anyway,
yeah. And he
but then
recently, yeah, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But
Go ahead.
then a few days later, April 18th, that was April 14th that they found her body. He was arrested in La Jolla near a golf course. Uh, at the time, he had about 15,000 in cash. He dyed his hair. He had camping gear, moldable phones, his brother's driver's license. So he
Nobody
was,
will guess him. It's him.
yeah, I'll just dye my hair. It's like Clark Kent just putting on the glasses and he becomes Superman. I'll just change my
Yeah.
hair color.
Nobody will know.
So, Yeah, and obviously the trial began in June of 2004. 174 witnesses testified, which seems like a lot. Like I think of recent cases that have been like the televised ones, like the um, well, I don't want to mention any specific ones because we might cover those later. But you know, any of the big ones that have been televised, 174 witnesses sounds like a ton.
Yeah. Um,
Um,
so something interesting that I was reading was that like so that he said he had told police how, she what was it that he claimed that she was when he saw her in the morning watching Martha Stewart preparing to mop the floor and planning to walk the family dog. What's interesting about this is like I guess there was talk that oh my god, excuse me. There was talk that in the beginning of her pregnancy, like the majority of it, she tried to stay pretty healthy and like walk every day. But near the end of the pregnancy, I guess like she kept trying to walk, and each time she would go for a walk, she would get super, super sick. Took a
mm,
little break, tried to walk again, like days later, went out and tried it again, got super sick. So she talked to her doctor about it, and the doctor had told her like, okay, hey, I think the rest of your pregnancy, no more walking. You should just take it easy and get a lot of rest. No more
hmm
like walks around the neighborhood type of thing.
hmm
So him even saying that she was going to take the dog for a walk, red flag. She wasn't going to take the dog for a walk because she was literally instructed to not do that because every time that
Wow.
she was going for a walk, she was getting just viciously sick to the extent that she said like she was going to pass out or whatever.
Oh wow. And you'd think with something like that that like family members of hers, her mother or her sister, I think they mentioned a sister, would have like
Yeah.
been aware of that, and right away you'd be like kind of, your story wouldn't match up, wouldn't make sense.
Yeah. Um and then there's also the I don't know if you read the information on the what was it? It was the boat, the boat that he got.
Yeah, he only
So
bought it a few weeks before.
he bought it a few weeks before, and like I guess nobody had really known about the boat. Like he kind of just
Mm,
like bought it very under the table, I guess. Um, like
that's interesting too,
he
because like
wasn't
I
really
think, ooh,
like people don't even know if he told Lacey about it because I guess
yeah,
even they were saying like her family didn't really know about it, and she I guess was the type that would have she was on the phone with her mom all the time, like she would have mentioned it like Scott bought a boat.
yeah,
So
yeah. Yeah, which is
also
interesting because
weird.
I can't picture like me doing something or anybody I know, any couple I know, the husband going out and buying something like that and somehow like the wife not being aware of it, or
And I guess it was just a small boat. It was like a little not a John boat. What's the like the other kind of little like fishing boat? Oh, and I guess like he was like a hunter and stuff like that, but he wasn't I don't know. It was weird for him, I guess, to just randomly buy a boat, basically.
right.
Um so
I think it's weird for anybody just to randomly buy a boat, but
yeah, that's not usually like while I'm here at the store type of item.
yeah, yeah. Although I think
um
we did buy a John boat once to take on the lake out here just on a whim. That's a little different though. A couple $100 versus, a lot.
Yeah, and then this also says one of the most disturbing pieces of evidence involved Scott's phone calls to Amber Fry after Lacey disappeared. In one recorded call, Scott told Amber he was celebrating New Year's Eve in Paris, but in reality, he was attending a candlelight vigil for his missing wife in Modesto. Investigators
Wow.
believe this showed Scott was continuing the deception even while the search for Lacey was happening,
Wow,
which is like
that's
really crazy. And I think I remember, if I remember correctly, Amber back then though, like people hated her because like you're having an affair with this man who killed his wife. But I believe she was like cooperate. Like once she started putting two to two together, and when a case is that big anyway, it probably wasn't long before she watched the news and was like, "Wait, that's Scott."
Yeah, and
But
not quite the same as the other story we talked about, where the person he was having the affair with was in on it too.
yeah, yeah. So she, I believe, was like cooperative, and the reason we even know as much as we know regarding him and her was because she came out and told all the
Yeah,
details.
yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, hold on. Yeah, so wow, that's really crazy. Yeah, so in November 2004, that's when the jury reached a verdict. He was found guilty of first degree murder for Laci and second degree murder for their unborn son, Connor. He was originally sentenced to death. Years later, that death sentence was overturned due to a jury selection issue, but his conviction remained. Today, he is serving life in prison without the possibility of parole.
Yeah,
So,
which that maybe that's worse. Maybe that's worse for him to have to be. You
you
know,
think?
I
Yeah.
mean, I hope his prison life is hell.
Yeah, I don't,
That's all I can say.
right. I don't think prison life is probably great. I also
No,
wonder though if a part of you is like I've asked this before, like after somebody is just in jail for so long like that though, because he was pretty young when he got
yeah,
sentenced. Like, he was young enough that he really was just like starting out his life. Like he just had gotten married. A few years later, like they had just started. I think they got married in 1997. It said.
hmm
Um, so 2002, like, they had just kind of they were younger. Um, so if you're somebody like that and you're in jail your entire life, like 20, 30 years in jail, I don't know, I feel like that's just all you know at that point.
right,
Like
right,
that just
true.
becomes your normal and like your
Yeah,
way of life.
you can only hope that somebody in prison that long for doing something like that at some point is thinks about what they did. They have lots of time to think about what they did.
That's true.
Um, I'm reading some
It's
some
true.
other facts on it though that are interesting. There's one that's a little too morbid. I'm not going to mention. Um, but it does mention the thing that you said about him buying the boat and nobody knew about it. He kept it in a warehouse. They believe he made homemade anchors. Um, yeah, we already talked about the fetus was found, but he had researched ocean currents. They found that Scott had looked up the tidal and current information for the San Francisco Bay. Um, and that's suggesting the plan, he was planning related to disposing of the body in the water. So he was trying to figure out maybe when to do it or where to do it so that, the current would carry it away. Obviously, he didn't do a very good job of that because, it washed up. Um,
Oh yeah, it says a jogger discovered them. Oh my gosh. I could just never
yeah,
imagine running up on that. Literally.
yeah, yeah, that's it. Oh, it says he sold her car shortly after she disappeared. While the search was still ongoing, Scott tried to sell Lacey's Land Rover, and he sold the nursery furniture they purchased for their unborn son.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not suspicious at all.
No.
Um I don't know how he got caught actually. But so it also says that the prosecution argued that Scott murdered Laci because he didn't want the responsibility of a child and wanted to continue his relationship with Amber Fry. The defense argued that there was no direct evidence and suggested Laci may have been killed by burglars in the neighborhood. Despite the
Yeah.
lack of clear murder weapon or eyewitnesses, the prosecution relied heavily on circumstantial evidence.
Yeah, they never found a murder weapon, nor do they know what the how she was killed.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they didn't find a murder weapon. They have no
That's
idea how she
crazy.
was killed because, the fact that the body was in the ocean with like ocean life, it I guess that it causes a body to decompose very quickly
Oh,
in that
right.
environment. So they didn't have much to go on. But I think like, and it's kudos to the jury for convicting, because
Yeah.
first degree murder especially is harder. First degree murder on Laci, and second degree murder on Connor, the unborn child son. Um, but because I mean, yes, they didn't have like the smoking gun. Literally, they didn't have the smoking gun or
Yeah.
whatever was used to kill her, nor did they know how it was done. However, you can look at somebody's behavior, like in this case, and you can see that, like, yeah, you know, I mean, definitely, without a doubt, to me, that's what happened.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so on December 30th, 6 days after she disappeared, that's when Amber Fry contacted the police because she learned the man she was dating was the husband of the missing pregnant woman. That would be just so crazy to me. Like, I would
Yeah,
totally,
yeah,
I think I would definitely snitch. I'm
yeah.
not, much of a,
Well, but then there's that party that goes, wait, he just killed his wife and unborn child. Like,
who am
I gotta,
I?
I gotta watch my back. You know
Yeah,
what I
who
mean?
am I if
There would
he's
be
killing?
so, really good for her that she did do that, because
Yeah. And that's when the
like,
investigators asked her to secretly record the phone calls. Over the next several weeks, she recorded multiple conversations. During one of those calls, he spoke to Amber while attending a vigil for Laci. I think that was probably when he was telling her that he was going to Paris for New Year's Eve.
yeah,
Um, that's wild. Whole
I
time
mean,
she's standing there knowing that he's lying. She's standing there
yeah,
in the
I mean,
distance looking at him.
that's really, that's insane. And to me, it goes back to, we've talked about this on some other of these cases where it's been similar things. Like, why? Okay, you want to be with this other person, you don't want to be with your wife, you don't want the responsibility of a child. You know, there are ways to do that, but without killing the person and dumping the body in the ocean. Like, I, it's just like, what is wrong with people? Oh, there's also something that says the case led to a new law. Congress passed Unborn Victims of Violence Act, often called the Lacey and Connors Law, uh, which recognizes unborn children as a separate victim in federal crime. So in a case like that, where, and especially in this case, like, I mean, so here's my thing. They um they convicted him of first degree murder on her and second degree murder on Connor. But here's my problem with that. He knew she was pregnant, and he knew that by killing her, he was also killing Connor.
Yeah.
So that was like, first degree is premeditated. It's, you planned it. So he knew it and planned it. I mean, granted, not that it did any good because of some, whatever the screw up was um, on the jury selection or whatever it was, but that they couldn't put him to death. But like, come on, you know?
Um, yeah. And I think just the fact that it was hard enough just to get her for first degree, like him for like
Yeah,
first degree murder
especially
for
again.
her,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah, I get it, and not that it would have made any difference. Again, he's already in prison, life without the possibility of parole. So it's not like, it just feels like wrong.
No, for sure. But, even with like the no murder weapon thing, what happens if you strangle somebody or like there is no
Right,
weapon? Like you can kill
right.
somebody without a
Yeah, there
murder
doesn't
weapon.
there doesn't have to be a weapon. That's where, like, I guess um the not knowing the manner of death comes into play. The
Um,
let's see. This is interesting. It says I guess there had been a burglary at the house right across the street from them. So the defense suggested, oh, maybe it was the burglar who did it, and not the guy who mysteriously bought a boat and claimed he was fishing that day right near where the bodies were found, and changed his hair color and had cash in his brother's driver's license. Not that guy. It was some random burglar who oh, and there were two burglars that were arrested, by the way.
Wow. 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. Wow. That's crazy.
I
Um,
used to have more faith in people in prison though than I do now, because the fact that he's been able to live this long in prison, I used to think like
says
maybe,
Connor would be 23 now
yeah,
if he
think
did
about
not
that.
die.
Is that
Isn't that
crazy?
crazy?
Is that crazy?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think that to an extent though, there's so many bad people in prison anyway. Like I think they are just always fighting.
Yeah,
But
sure, sure.
I like, what's separating him from like all the other people that do similar crimes in there, if not worse. Like
Yeah.
there's people
Well,
that
I
in
don't
there.
think worse. I don't know. Like, you know, people that are in there for, I don't know, even if it's a murder case, but it's a murder case where it was, a drug deal gone bad or something,
Like
something
things
like
with
that.
kids.
That's different. That's yeah, when it's something that involves kids, like that's much worse to me.
Yeah, I think these cases, like especially that one, it's just like I mean, I guess all of these murder cases can be preventable, but something like that, if you wanted to have your affair, like I don't know, because he wasn't even talking to this girl for so long, so I just can never imagine a part of you that just wants to be with this new person so bad that it even like crosses your mind to
Yeah.
like want
Yeah.
to kill your wife who's pregnant with
Yeah.
your baby, let
Yeah.
alone go through with it. Like I think it's even different with like so many situations in life to like have a certain thought about something. Like
Right.
even if it's something more minor like the affair,
Right.
it's
Sure.
completely different to like actually fully go through with things like that.
Right.
So to completely go through with that's where it's like it just has to be people wired a certain way in their brain because so many times you're gonna get caught like
Yeah.
especially someone
Well,
like
I
Scott, like you were so sloppy with it.
yeah,
Like
yeah, yeah. Well, and the thing is too, like not even that aspect of it, but just like what is wrong with somebody? Like you said, like, and then it makes you wonder because he probably up until that point seemed like a very, just as like last week's case we talked about, seemed like a normal guy.
yeah.
And you find out that these are the thoughts he's having, these are the plans he's making. It really makes you wonder, or it makes you concerned about people you walk around every day that you just don't know, might be wired that way.
It's like that one it's like that one case that we or not the case, the fact of like you walk past how many murders in your lifetime or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Murderers, not murders. But yeah,
I hope you
that
don't
like
walk past that many murders in your life. That would be
right,
frightening.
unless you're like a yeah, like a police officer. Um yeah, so that's like the sadder part about these kind of cases is they were like a regular normal couple that got together and got married and decided that they
Yeah.
wanted to start a family, so they did that and like I think they were even trying the thing I read it said they were trying to for kids for like a few years after they got
Oh
married.
wow. Wow.
So, obviously cuz they got married in 1997. A couple years later they decided they want to have kids and then they were trying for a couple more years before she actually got pregnant. So, like that's what's also really sad about it
Yeah.
is they
Yeah.
were trying for so long. She finally she was super excited to be a mom, her family was saying, and
Yeah.
she was literally in the last stretch of her pregnancy where she literally had to just be on bed rest and something like that happens. It's just like
Yeah.
yeah, you're a douche. You should be in prison forever. And just
Yeah.
think about it. And Be
I think we
surrounded with
need,
your
I think we
thoughts.
need meaner prisons though. Like, okay, if we're not going to put people to death, can we just put them down in a hole and then drop some
Yeah.
rats in?
I mean,
Can we do
yeah,
that?
I think he's definitely not
And
living his best life out there for sure.
no, I'm sure not. I'm sure not. But
The meal, but
he's,
again, like that's what I'm saying. I feel after you're in jail for so long like that, I don't know. I would guess like it kind of becomes like, especially when you go in so
normal.
young, it's like that's
Yeah,
your normal. That's your normal life.
yeah,
It's like
yeah,
um,
yeah,
a rich person in a mansion with a chef, like that's just their life. Like they can't
yeah,
fathom having to make
yeah. They
dinner
don't.
for their family every night.
Right. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You
Exactly.
know,
You know, no,
same
you're right, and
concept.
that's like that's where I mean, it's still you're there, and you can't. You know, you have no freedom, right? Or very little, I guess, freedom. But you're right. It becomes that just becomes your life, and whatever.
Yeah.
One other thing I found was that during the deliberations, the jury deliberations, I guess there were some heated arguments between the jurors, which is wild. I can't even imagine that. And it says one juror was replaced late in deliberations after misconduct concerns. It doesn't tell me what those misconduct concerns were involving. Um, but it says that deliberations lasted about 7 days, which is unusually long for a case with no direct evidence. I guess what they're
Oh.
suggesting is most of those kind of cases are probably dismissed or not guilty or whatever. Um, but that's interesting. I'm wondering if the misconduct concern during deliberations is why they, didn't allow the death penalty.
Yeah, but it's kind of like these kind of cases to me, they are really like honestly, I would hate to be a lawyer for these type of cases because when it's the spouse who or just family member in general who did it, like even when we were talking about the Nancy Guthrie case, like if it's a family member who did it and it's a family member that you're around all the time, again, especially a spouse,
Right.
you can't even just go by DNA because
Right.
their DNA is on everything. Like
Right.
it doesn't like if your DNA, like I think it said that they found her hair like in the boat or whatever, you can easily chalk that up to like, yeah, I bought the boat, like we've been out on it together, like
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
that's my
Well, yeah.
wife. That's my
We
wife.
went
Of
out on the
course her
boat.
hair,
Yeah.
like, oh, her hair
Yeah.
was probably on a jacket of mine, like whatever.
Yeah.
Um, like you can easily chalk up that stuff. It's not the same as you're a stranger down the street that I've never talked to and my hair is on your boat.
Right.
That's easy. But when it's a spouse, it's like there's no true way to prove that. And then
Right.
even on top of like even if they did, I mean they would have to connect a murder weapon to him or even if he did just kill her by asphyxiation or whatever.
Right.
How do you prove that? How do you prove it's him that did it?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I'm just reading some things that were like the claims by the defense during it. Um, the burglary. We already talked about that. That it could be. There was one thing that said that there were witnesses that claimed they saw Laci alive after the the time frame of the murder.
Yeah.
Which I mean, I feel like that always happens in cases like this. People think they see the person and it's not them.
Yeah.
Um, but then there's another one here that's interesting because it says the boat was too small for the alleged crime. The defense argued it would be extremely difficult to transport the body, attach anchors, dump the body without capsizing or leaving evidence. Um, which I mean,
But she
I just
wasn't
I
too
just picture
far.
Scott during that being like, when they're saying, I mean, that boat would be, it would be extremely difficult to do that in that boat because of the size of the boat. And Scott's over there going, "You're telling me," you know?
Yeah, but you also don't know how he brought her out there. He could have literally, like, this is kind of gruesome, but he could have, like, dragged her by the boat. Like,
Yeah, yeah,
you don't, I
yeah.
mean,
Oh, yeah.
especially if
You
she
mean
was
like
already
behind the
dead.
boat, or yeah,
You
true,
know what I mean? Like, you
true.
don't
No,
know.
that's a really good point.
Yeah. So, yeah, I feel like we'll never know, unfortunately, but
No,
at
we
least
won't.
they did find her body. I'm assuming they buried her with the baby. I mean, oh my
Yeah, I
gosh,
would
like
think.
even the fact that they found the baby fetus, that's kind of incredible, actually.
Yeah. Well, especially like that far along. And I remember discussions of the case at the time that said like when someone is murdered and they're pregnant, and especially that far along pregnant, like the body will actually,
Oh
um,
yeah, naturally
you
go into
know,
labor.
naturally, yeah, like
Hmm.
naturally,
I heard that
eject
too.
eject for lack of a better term, the baby. But then I also remember people suggesting, because again we talked about like the level of decomposition that had happened, that it could have also been just because of that. But
True. Yeah.
yeah, but we can all be thankful that that guy's at least in prison. But he should have got the ultimate.
Hey, you know, take what we can get out of it.
Yeah. Yep.
Now look at you. You don't have you don't you, all of that for what?
All of that for what? That's right. That's right. Where did it get you?
Yeah. So
Where did it get you? Yep.
so yeah, that's our case today, you guys. Don't murder
Yeah. Let us.
people. Don't have affairs with don't
That
murder
seems.
people for your affairs. That's
Yeah. That
never a
seems
good
to be a.
idea.
Seems to be an ongoing theme we have here.
Yeah. And yeah, behave, children.
Yeah.
Till
Yeah.
next time.
Be good and go to church.
Go to church.
I feel
Yeah.
like people going to church aren't doing this. I don't
I
know.
think,
It's just me.
well, you'd be surprised probably. We might come
Yeah.
across
Maybe. Maybe.
those cases too. I'll have to look for
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. I don't want to find one of those. I just want to live in the world where people who go to church don't do this. All right. Thanks, guys. Check us out again on Tuesday for our regular, not depressing episode. And yeah, thanks for checking us out.
Till next time. Bye.